Vanishing Point is a story I have chosen to narrate because the main character appears to navigate liminality, an in-between realm triggered by the transporter, feeling loss of herself, identity, and bodily order. Ensign fears the breakdown, the disintegration of her whole, when she transitions, embarking on a voyage of the soul. So the story begins with two members of crew who work with the ship Enterprise. They travel to ancient ruins on an empty planet for a data mission, but are interrupted by Captain Archer's transmission. The captain sounds urgent and has concern for the storms, monitoring as a bigger diamagnetic forms, embodying a swirl of polaric energy and putting the shuttle pod in jeopardy. So the shuttle is out of the question. They'll need to transport. Ensign Hoshi Sato understands but is lost in thought, fearing chaos, fearing loss, and fearing the worst. She tells Commander Tucker, "You go first. Your molecules get pulled apart." But the commander says, "It's safe." Ensign replies, "But what if pieces get put in the wrong place?" Well, after their discussion, Tucker transports. Safe and sound on Enterprise, he reports to Ensign Hoshi Sato, who simply replies, "I'm on my way, sir," and closes her eyes. Her vessel disappears, beaming, energizing, like a pattern of scattered stars, dematerializing, transporting from space to space. This in-between is undefinable, a stairless stairwell of transient experience, unrecognizable, transitioning through this temporal, porous boundary of identity, this interstitial passage opening up the possibility of hybridity. Between scenes of here and there, the black void lacks identity and structure. Could reality be found in liminality? Between letting go and beyond, Ensign transitions within this zone of twilight, Plato's cave, a lost body absent and alone, a ghost within a shell, beaming from planet to ship, through non-linear space-time flux, tick-tock, tick-tick, progressing through this connective tissue of interstices, in between dimensions of translocal experiences, transporting between designations of identity, emerging from the rabbit hole, liminal space, liminality, elevating toward the sky, toward the stars, toward the space, a nomad transforming between selves, between states, mentally, physically, spiritually conflating, two realms, two ideas to adapt, escalating. Toward the destination, Ensign's matter stream is reassembling, changing, in motion, a phase of rematerializing. From ethereal to corporeal, a body is formed, wondering if from original to copy, she has been transformed. So Ensign's mind adjusted and prepared for the worst, as her body was scanned and beamed up for the first time. On board the ship, Ensign's feeling unsure. Are her molecules and body secure? Back to her quarters, she ponders some more. She stops to answer a buzz at the door. She calls, "Come in," twice, but the captain doesn't hear her. He checks in with Ensign after using the transporter. He mentions finishing the data mission, but Ensign looks odd. The captain reassures her that she'd be taking the other pod, but she doesn't want to get lost. It was very unsettling. She doesn't feel like herself since she went through that thing. The captain mentions Cyrus Ramsey, who never rematerialized. Something went wrong with the pattern buffer, but now the machine is stabilized. Commander Tucker contacts the captain, The storms have ceased. In the morning they can return to the ruins with ease, complete the data mission and bring the pod home. The captain responds, Ensign can't join, so Mayweather will come. Ensign still feels odd, so she visits the sick bay to see Dr. Phlox and check she's okay. As she enters, she calls for him, looking left and right, when the doctor appears asking if she's all right. Ensign is worried that the doctor didn't hear her, that she's losing herself ever since she used the transporter. The doctor scans Ensign's molecules but finds nothing wrong, so he prescribes her some sleep and hurries along. Ensign is sleeping soundly when a call wakes her. She's needed on the bridge, it's all a blur.
The time is 11. She's running late.
Ensign is confused. That's impossible. Her shift starts at 8. Dishevelled, Ensign travels to the bridge. The captain tells her that Tucker and Mayweather have been taken hostage. Shocked by this news, Ensign asks, but by who? The captain answers, the people down there didn't like how you disturbed their ruins. Ensign replies, that simply can't be. There were no biosigns on the planet. It was empty. The captain presses on. He needs Ensign to listen to linguistics. But both she and the universal translator don't understand the stylistics. Ensign is ordered to go back to her quarters to get some more rest. The captain reassures her that it's for the best. Ensign returns to her room and gazes. Into the mirror herself erases. Her body disappears into the mist and appears again trying to exist. Sub-Commander T-Pole buzzes at the door. Come in, Ensign calls once more. Didn't you hear me? She questions T-Pole. Ensign feels like she's losing part of her soul. T-Pole reveals that the hostage situation was resolved. But it's only been an hour. How is the issue solved? T-Pole confesses, with the universal translator they managed to decipher the alien language. But Ensign finds this impossible. She ran every linguistic algorithm possible. Ensign hears a voice say, the stream's too unstable. Come on, Hoshi. But Ensign isn't able to identify who speaks, the source she cannot see. You can do it, Ensign. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Hearing voices and vanishing, Ensign goes to the sick bay again, see if the doctor knows why nothing has been the way that it should be. Ensign blurted, something's wrong, very wrong. Can you see me? Since she transported, she feels she is being ignored. Everything changed when she transported and came back on board. But the doctor isn't worried, she's neither porous nor transparent. Ensign's paranoia is becoming increasingly apparent. So Ensign heads to the gym and she starts to work out, but the controls don't respond, filling her with doubt. Feeling lost, her body vanishes from sight. Unable to leave, she stops overnight. Early next morning, T-Pole and Tucker rush in. Ensign tries to communicate, but she's stuck between realms. They can't see or hear her. Intangible she's become, present yet absent. Is she no longer human? Captain Archer calls, commanding T-Pole to meet him in sickbay. T-Pole doesn't hesitate, responding, yes sir, right away. The doctor explains Ensign's concerns about her molecules, that they'd reassembled wrongly when returning her form to corporeal. He's compared the biomolecular scans and found degradation in her subcellular membranes. Within hours, she'll lose molecular cohesion. Continuing the search for Ensign, they return to the pod. The target of her first transportation where she first felt odd. The doctor explains that Ensign's body is absent. Only subcellular residue would now be present. Ensign is desperate. She's still in one piece, they just can't see. The captain orders Tucker and the doctor to scan shaft 7B. Again, Ensign hears a voice. This one demands, what's the problem? Another replies, the stream's too unstable. Ensign feels dislocation. The doctor leaves with no results of Ensign's presence. to inform the captain so he can call her parents. Ensign seems to hear sounds which come from behind. Aliens hacking with cables she finds. Ensign is a ghost to them too. She can't stop them. She goes to Captain's quarters to tell him the problem. Ensign pleads with the captain. The ship is in danger, but her transparent body is soundless. In this world, she is a stranger. Lost. In between. The captain contacts Ensign's father,
revealing to him just how they lost his daughter.
Her body is lost, becoming the space, because she transported from place to place. The call ends, and Ensign gets the captain to notice communications of Morse code because she's unnoticed. As blue lights flash, SOS can be read, but the captain chooses to ignore it instead. Ensign panics and returns to the shafts. The aliens transport from the spacecraft. Invisible, she too transports unplanned and arrives on her ship's pod, case in hand. Another voice repeating, "What's the problem? What?" The voices become closer, clearer, but the stream's too unstable. Ensign hears from beyond. "Come on, Hoshi, come on, you can do it, Ensign." She feels the bond. Connecting, conflating, constructing the self with identity. Finally transforming, transporting. Tucker says it's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Ensign beams into place as her molecules become one. Immediately she cries, Where are they? We've got to stop them." "Who?" Tucker replies, confused and concerned. He hears her, he sees her. "Everything's fine," he responds. But Ensign's unconvinced and warns of the aliens from the planet below. "They kidnapped you," she gasps, urging them to go. Captain Archer explains how the transporter was affected by the storms. Ensign's matter stream couldn't reintegrate. She couldn't fully form. She was trapped, in between space, in the pattern buffer for a few seconds. Just recently on the surface, in the ruins, beamed and beckoned. Ensign mentions Cyrus Ramsey, but they reply, "Cyrus who?" The whole experience for Ensign, happening in the last 1 or 2 seconds, as her matter stream was coalescing, stretching ephemeral time as she emerged, rematerializing.